The silence of the late Jurassic floodplain is absolute, broken only by the rhythmic thud of a titan moving through the high ferns. Above the vast savannas of what is now Oklahoma and New Mexico, the air is thick with the scent of pine and the looming threat of a storm. From the edge of a conifer forest, a massive silhouette emerges that dwarfs the common hunters of this land. It is a predator of such immense proportions that it makes the famous Allosaurus look like a mere scout. This is Saurophaganax maximus, the lord of the lizard eaters. Standing as the ultimate realization of the Allosaurid body plan, it represents the absolute apex of the Morrison Formation. Moving with the lethal efficiency of a king, it was a biological force designed to bring down the greatest giants to ever walk the earth. In the grand narrative of prehistory, it remains the ultimate evidence that the Jurassic was not just an age of giants, but an age of monsters capable of hunting them. The story of Saurophaganax began in the dust of the 1930s, during an era when the fossil-rich lands of the American West were yielding secrets at a frantic pace. Between 1931 and 1932, a team led by the paleontologist John Willis Stovall unearthed the remains of an exceptionally large theropod near Kenton, Oklahoma. These fossils were found in the legendary Morrison Formation, a geological layer world-renowned for its massive sauropods and diverse carnivores. However, this find was different. The bones described a predator that reached lengths of nearly 11 to 12 meters, placing it in a size class occupied by only the most elite theropods in history. For decades, the identity of this giant was the subject of intense scientific debate. Initial reports referred to it as Saurophagus, but that name was already occupied by a genus of birds. In 1995, paleontologist Daniel Chure officially renamed the animal Saurophaganax maximus. The name is perfectly chosen, combining Greek roots to mean the greatest lord of the lizard eaters. For a long time, many researchers argued that these remains were simply exceptionally large individuals of Allosaurus. However, detailed osteological analysis eventually revealed specific anatomical markers that separated the two. While Allosaurus was the common wolf of the Jurassic, Saurophaganax was something far rarer and more formidable. A true superpredator that appeared only when the ecosystem could support a giant of such magnitude. To understand the dominance of Saurophaganax, one must examine the specialized engineering of its skeletal frame. As an allosaurid, it shared the basic body plan of its smaller relatives, but everything about its anatomy was scaled up for extreme power. An adult Saurophaganax is estimated to have reached lengths of up to 12 meters and weights exceeding 3 to 4 tons. Its skull was large and equipped with dozens of serrated, blade-like teeth designed for the high-impact demands of a big-game specialist. The most critical diagnostic feature of Saurophaganax lies in its vertebrae. Chure identified horizontal laminae on the bases of the dorsal neural spines. This specific structural arrangement provided a massive surface area for muscle attachment along the back, giving the animal incredible stability and strength when grappling with large prey. This was a predator built for the struggle. Its forelimbs were also exceptionally robust, carrying 3 fingers tipped with massive recurved claws. Unlike the later tyrannosaurs that relied almost entirely on their jaws, Saurophaganax used a combination of powerful arms and a slashing bite to dismantle its targets. The legs were long and strong, suggesting that while it was not a high-speed sprinter, it possessed the endurance and stability necessary to navigate the open floodplains while tracking massive sauropod herds. The world of Saurophaganax was a land of staggering biological intensity. The Morrison Formation represented a vast, semi-arid environment characterized by distinct wet and dry seasons. Huge river systems crisscrossed the landscape, supporting galleries of trees and vast meadows of ferns and horsetails. In this world, Saurophaganax occupied a unique ecological niche as the absolute top predator. It shared its environment with other formidable carnivores like Allosaurus fragilis, Ceratosaurus, and the robust Torvosaurus. The presence of multiple large predators in one ecosystem is a study in niche partitioning. While Allosaurus was likely a generalist that hunted in groups to take down medium-sized prey, Saurophaganax was a specialized hunter of giants. Its massive size and structural reinforcements allowed it to target the subadults, and even adults, of some sauropod species that were too large for other carnivores to tackle. By focusing on the most massive food sources available, Saurophaganax avoided direct competition with the smaller and more numerous Allosaurus, effectively ruling over a higher tier of the food chain. This was a kingdom of specialists, and the Lord of the Lizard Eaters sat at the pinnacle of the hierarchy. The primary targets for Saurophaganax were the legendary long-necked giants of the Morrison, including Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Camarasaurus. Hunting a sauropod that could weigh 20 tons or more required more than just size. It required a specific technical approach to killing. Saurophaganax did not possess the bone-crushing bite force of a later T-Rex. Instead, it utilized a hunting method often described as the flesh-rending strike. Using its wide gaping jaws, Saurophaganax would deliver deep, slashing bites to the vulnerable areas of a sauropod, such as the neck or the legs. These wounds would cause massive blood loss and shock. The powerful arms and claws were used to anchor the predator to its struggling prey, preventing the sauropod from shaking it off while the predator continued to deliver lethal strikes. This was a war of attrition. Saurophaganax did not need to kill its prey instantly. It only needed to inflict enough damage to weaken the giant until it collapsed from exhaustion and blood loss. This specialized hunting style allowed it to exploit a food source that was practically unlimited, turning the massive sauropod herds into a walking buffet for the Jurassic's greatest hunter. A predator of such magnitude required a sophisticated sensory suite to track its prey across the vast Morrison floodplains. While direct brain casts of Saurophaganax are rare, we can infer its capabilities from its closely related Allosaurid kin. Its brain was optimized for the hunt, with a significant emphasis on the olfactory and visual centers. The large nasal cavities suggest an exceptional sense of smell, allowing the predator to detect the scent of a carcass or a living herd from kilometers away. Its vision was also highly developed, providing the depth perception necessary to navigate the complex environments of the river galleries while pursuing fast-moving prey. Unlike many other large theropods, allosaurids often possessed a degree of binocular vision that helped them judge distances with precision. This was essential for an animal that needed to coordinate its bites and arm strikes simultaneously. The inner ear was likely tuned to low-frequency sounds, allowing it to detect the deep rhythmic vibrations of walking sauropod herds. These sensory advantages ensured that Saurophaganax was always aware of its surroundings, making it a master of its environment and a nearly inescapable threat to anything in its path. One of the most intriguing aspects of Saurophaganax is its rarity in the fossil record. While Allosaurus remains are found in abundance across the Morrison Formation, Saurophaganax is known from only a few specific sites. This rarity is a hallmark of a true apex predator. In any stable ecosystem, the largest and most specialized hunters must have much lower population densities than the animals they hunt, or even their smaller predatory relatives. Each Saurophaganax required a massive territory to find enough food to sustain its 4-ton body. This necessitated a solitary or perhaps pair-bonded lifestyle, with individuals ranging over hundreds of square kilometers. Their rarity also suggests that they were highly sensitive to environmental changes. Any shift in the population of large sauropods would have a direct and devastating impact on the lord of the lizard-eaters. This ecological fragility is the price of being at the absolute top of the food chain. They were the elite of the Jurassic world, a small number of titans ruling over a vast and dangerous kingdom. The era of Saurophaganax eventually came to an end as the Jurassic period gave way to the Cretaceous. Changing climates and shifting tectonic plates altered the environment of the Morrison Formation, leading to the decline of the massive sauropod herds that the lord of the lizard-eaters relied upon. However, its design was so successful that it served as the spiritual ancestor to the giant Carcharodontosaurids that would later dominate the southern hemisphere. Saurophaganax remains a symbol of the incredible scale and intensity of the Jurassic world. It teaches us that nature always finds a way to fill every gap in the food chain, creating monsters of unimaginable power when the resources allow it. By recognizing Saurophaganax, we see a richer and more complex vision of prehistory. We see a world where the tyrant king of the Jurassic shared its realm with a lord of such power that it could turn the greatest herbivores in history into mere prey. The ghost of the Oklahoma giant still speaks to us through the stone, reminding us of a time when the master of the plains was a creature of speed, claws, and a hunger that could only be satisfied by the flesh of giants. Saurophaganax was a masterpiece of specialized evolution, a predator that proved the Late Jurassic was a world of incredible diversity and intense competition. From its reinforced vertebrae to its lethal, grasping arms, it was an animal designed for a kind of warfare that few other creatures could ever master. It was the definitive super-predator of the Morrison, a king that ruled through a combination of mass and technical skill. If you are ready to continue exploring the deep-dive stories of the most incredible creatures to ever walk the Earth and want to stay updated on the latest scientific evidence, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your support allows us to continue bringing the drama and science of the prehistoric world to life with every entry. Tell us in the comments, do you think Saurophaganax would have been a more successful hunter than the later T-Rex in a direct competition for large prey?